With all the breakthroughs in technology thanks to the Borg Reclamation Project, many new Starship classes would be brought to life in short order. And one class, the Duderstadt Class, would quickly become one of Starfleet Command's leading starships of the line. But what do we know about this offensive-defensive starship class? Well, today we'll find out. Hello and welcome to another episode of Truth or Myth Beta Canon, a Star Trek web series that dives into the history of any given topic using beta canon sources and my own imagination to fill in the gaps. In today's episode, we're taking a look at the Duderstadt Class, as first seen in Season 3 of Star Trek Picard, to better understand its place in Star Trek history. Please note, I really love this class. Having made hundreds of these videos, it always inspires my imagination when a starship design is created that has elements that fall outside the established box, and the Duderstadt Class fits that bill to a T. Also, the Duderstadt Class was designed by Doug Drexler and Dave Blass, and named after the late wife of Doug Drexler, and not after the German town. But of course, and as always, because this is just a bit of beta canon, all information relayed should pretty much be taken with a grain of stardust and only considered a little bit of Star Trek fun. And so, with all that out of the way, let's begin. The USS Stargazer of the Sagan class was a complete success. A totally new and revolutionary starship design, filled with Borg reclamation technology, had made a name for itself and had quickly affirmed the Federation's public faith in that project. As a result, Starfleet Command would pour all its resources into all the other new starship classes they were building in the same design vein as the Stargazer. Speeding up production tenfold, several new starship classes would be launched in the early 25th century. Realizing that the Federation needed a patrol vessel class, well-armed and defensively sound, Starfleet's best and brightest would make modifications to one of its starship classes to fit the bill, and then the Duderstadt Class would be born. Sitting at a length of 578.5 meters, the Duderstadt Class was designed to be operated by 500 officers and crew members. More than just a glorified science vessel, and named after the famed Admiral Dorothy Duder, the Duderstadt Class would be equipped with an uprated warp drive. And as a result, the Duderstadt Class would have a standard safe cruising speed of warp factor 8.5, with an emergency maximum speed of warp factor 9.997 for 13-hour increments. Tactically, the Duderstadt Class would be armed to the teeth. Containing both phaser emitter arrays as well as dual phaser emitter banks, offensively, the Duderstadt Class was a tremendous power in its own right. As with all designs of the time, the inclusion of both phaser arrays and phaser emitter banks would allow this class to pack even a further punch, with the emitter banks able to fire cannon-like bursts of phaser energy, as well as overloaded, sustained phaser beams. With 10 torpedo launching systems, 8 forward and 2 aft, capable of firing a wide variety of projectile weaponry, the Duderstadt Class would be rarely outmatched in combat. Defensively, the Duderstadt Class would also be no slouch. With uprated shielding as well as re-engineered armor plating, the class could certainly withstand a large beating. Again, utilizing Borg reclamation technology, along with an enhanced bioneural circuitry computer core, meant that the Duderstadt Class was one of the most maneuverable starship classes ever created by Starfleet Command at the time. A specialized sensor array designed to boost the class's long-range sensor capabilities was mounted on the aft end of the class's secondary hull. Boosting the sensor signal through subspace by incorporating a deflector dish directly into the design, it was often said that the Duderstadt Class could find a tribble at 100 light-years distance. Whether this is true or not is still classified. But this sensor technology addition did make the Duderstadt Class an excellent command and control vessel during combat situations. The Duderstadt Class would also contain 2 shuttle bays, fully equipped with a wide variety of auxiliary spacecraft. One shuttle bay would be located atop the saucer section of the class, while the other would be located in the lower section of the secondary hull aft. Launched in 2400, the Duderstadt Class would not disappoint. Performing above and beyond its specifications, Starfleet Command would make the decision to test its new, highly classified technology known as Fleet Formation technology with this class. Fleet Formation would allow dozens or hundreds of starships to be controlled by one starship or even Starfleet Command itself, to ensure a fast and coordinated response to any threat that Starfleet might face. Believed by Starfleet Command to be the ultimate develop in technological innovation, Fleet Formation would be kept a secret during even and after its testing phase, though Starfleet Command would immediately begin installing the new technology on all active Starfleet vessels of the time, with no one seeing the potential danger it represented. Becoming the highlight of Frontier Day in 2401, Fleet Formation would be corrupted and twisted into a devastating weapon to be utilized by a Borg Queen, whose counterpart had battled the Enterprise E in 2373, traveled back in time to 2063 in an attempt to stop First Contact, only to fail once again thanks to the Enterprise E's intervention. But Jean-Luc Picard's original encounter with the Borg Collective and subsequent assimilation and unassimilation would not be without its consequences. Genetically altered when he was Locutus of Borg to be a Borg receiver, the Borg Queen would wait for Picard to transfer his genetic material to create an offspring of the Great Captain to initiate her heinous plot. And although an atypical Borg plot that no one could have imagined, this long shot would almost be the downfall of the entire United Federation of Planets. Through the use of changeling infiltrators and Starfleet's own transporter systems, the Borg Queen would be able to genetically assimilate most of Starfleet's officers under the age of 25, engaging the Fleet Formation Protocol and having those officers assume control over the entire fleet. While Space Dock valiantly held off the fleet from destroying Earth and the USS Titan attempted to take some of the heat off the base to buy time, Jean-Luc Picard and his old command crew would use the restored Enterprise D to save the Federation from its doom and destroy that faction of the Borg once and for all. After the incident, Starfleet Command would quietly remove the Fleet Formation function from all of its starships under the guise of security improvements and re-evaluation, and never reinstall the technology ever again. As for the Duderstadt class, she would continue in service to the fleet for over a century, receiving periodic upgrades and refits as needed or when new technology became available. And although her mission profile would change over the ensuing century, she would still become a symbol of a new era of starship design for Starfleet Command. Created to be a powerhouse to defend the United Federation of Planets, while at the same time to engage in scientific duties, the Duderstadt class would end up being so much more during her lifetime, earning the Duderstadt class its revolutionary place in Starfleet history. Thank you for watching today's episode of Truth or Myth Beta Canon. What do you think of the Duderstadt class and the historical narrative that I've created here? Do you want to see more videos like this one? Well, leave your comments in the section below. And don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel, hitting that little bell icon so you won't miss a single video we release. Want to help the channel defend the borders of Federation space from outside intruders? Then consider becoming a channel patron, a major help that allows this channel to purchase resources and 3D models to keep it going. The link to our Patreon account is in the description below. Thanks again for watching, and maybe resistance isn't so futile.